segregation, animal cruelty, religious persecution, unsafe borders, communism, really ugly lumps of floating leaves because she doesn't know how to cut down trees. A vote for Ron 1123 is a vote for all of these things. In 2025, Ron received a whopping 4 stacks of iron in the form of corporate lobbying. But from who? From none other than the KTFD Corporation, responsible for animal rights violations in every server across Minecraft. And best believe Ron's carrying the torch. Wow, what a cool and awesome disco floor. I wonder how it's made. And this is all just the tip of the iceberg. Even the quote-unquote holy deity that she swears allegiance to isn't safe from this gross exploitation. The pastor was subjected to weeks in such a small enclosure with no grass for sustenance. He was so malnourished that he couldn't reproduce his wool after being sheared. And obviously I've had my issues with the guy too, but this just isn't right. And look at this. What am I even supposed to say about this? Speaking of the pastor, I'm sure you're all excited for the unveiling of this fancy new megachurch. But what about the not-so-mega churches of this land? What is it like for them?
When I settled into this world, I tried so hard to find my place in this community. I built a communal home for everyone to sleep in, a bakery, and I worked hard for everything myself. I never took nothing from nobody. And things were really nice for a while. But overnight, there appeared this ugly husk of cobblestone right down the street from my house. People started knocking on my door, handing me pamphlets with some sheep on it. I had never heard of such a thing. And they were telling me I had to pray to it. Now, don't get me wrong, I have no problems with the pastor and people practicing what they want. It's just, in my family, I was raised to appreciate the healing power of bees. I remember the first time my mama took me to the bee's nest. And it was just the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. And I've lived my life dedicated to the bees ever since. So this inspired me. I wanted to build my own church in the name of my God. I did all this only to be met with cease and desist letters and threats. My friends started looking at me different, even leaving me stranded in the end to fend for myself, all for wanting to support my community and live according to the values of my family. I did everything for you guys, and how do I get compensated for this? By going to bed in my home alone every night, 5 empty beds corresponding to the people that I thought were my friends. I tried to get some peace and quiet at my church, but then I'm met with nothing but the sound of construction and ear-piercing sheep noises coming from the next door. I'm just waiting for the day they tear down everything I've built here.
As a small business owner myself, this behavior absolutely disgusts me. At the Pog 6 Saloon, I have the privilege of hosting wonderful community nights with friends and family every week. I can't imagine if this community was stripped away from me simply for what I believe. But even I am not completely safe, as I have experienced firsthand the dangerous society Ron is cultivating. None of this is okay, and I can't help but feel partially responsible. So as president, it is my promise to protect our small business owners from these atrocities. I'll even be donating stacks of my own diamonds to each business currently on the land to show that I would never strip your right and obligation to work. Because without you workers, I am nothing. So just keep working. Never stop working. Never stop working. You wake up, you work. You wake up, you work. You wake up, you work. You don't end up on the wall of shame after all. on. Can we go back to that wall of shame for a second? Yeah, that one. What name is that there? Before I begin this next segment, I would like to state that alcoholism is a serious issue. If you or anyone you know is suffering from alcohol use disorder, know you are not alone. Please call the hotline below. Pog6_, and I approve this message.